Welcome to For the Love of Books, a podcast by North Lanarkshire Libraries. Hi everyone, welcome back to North Lanarkshire Libraries podcast For the Love of Books. My name is Chris Wilson, E-Services Librarian, and today I have got what I feel is a bit of an exclusive reveal for the podcast for the library service today. And the summertime is coming, it's just around the corner, schools are almost about to break up for the summer holidays. And usually that brings with us the Summer Reading Challenge for kids during summer. And this year it will be no different. The Summer Reading Challenge will be coming very, very soon to a library near you for all the kids to get involved in and enjoy summer reading, which is a great activity for them all to get involved in. However, Summer Reading Challenges don't need to just be for kids. And a few years back now, we used to do a Summer Reading Challenge for adults, which we called Great Bookish Menu. It was created by one of my former colleagues, Lauren, and it was a great little kind of wee challenge to put together where we had lots of different genres of books and challenged you adult readers to read something a little bit different from what you would normally maybe read throughout the summer. And I'm very excited to reveal that we are very close to bringing it back for this year for the first time for a few years' time. And it will start again on the 19th of June. And you can sign up for the challenge online and you can track your progress and everything all by yourself, all using your online library account. And the challenge is nice and simple. Over the course of the summer, from the 19th of June, 2024, to the 19th of September 2024, you can sign up, take part at any point during that time. And there are 6 different genres of books that we are challenging you to read a book of throughout that time period. And we've come up with a very exciting list, I think, of the genres for you to try. Ones that are maybe a little bit off the beaten track. Some are kind of well-known genres that you might just not have tried before because you might not think it's your thing. But this summer is when you discover if it really isn't your thing. Or maybe you might discover that you are a fan of that genre after all, and you just never knew. And then you've got a whole new genre of books to enjoy and check out and see what you think. So, without further ado, I will reveal the 6 genres that we have picked. So, we have got local legends, banned books, outback noir, historical fiction, science fiction and fantasy, and non-fiction. So those are the 6 categories that we are going to challenge you guys to read throughout the summer. And I think it's a great kind of little set of titles, set of genres. And we have got some suggested titles on the online catalogue when you go to sign up too. You can see you don't have to read one of those titles. You can find something that you find that you can fit those 6 genres and read that and take part. And once you've decided which books you can read, you get them out from the library and take part. And it's a great challenge. And I'll go through, I think, some of what I think are some of the great titles from the list that we have got and that I think would be quite interesting ones for you guys to look at. But of course, it's all up to you. It's your reading challenge and you can take part. And what you might ask, why take part in this challenge? Well, basically, it's all for fun. And you get to track your own reading at your own pace throughout the summer. We're going to have lists of the genres in the libraries and stuff like that to see when you are in the library. You can kind of use your smartphone or whatever to kind of check out the lists online, and there'll also be on your online when you're signed into the online catalogue, you'll be able to click onto the challenge once you've registered. And you can track your progress on there, so you'll be able to kind of, once you've done the outback noir category, for example, you'll be able to tick that off, and then once you get them all done, you completed the challenge. It's nice and simple. Now, how did we come to this list of titles, list of genres? Both myself and my colleague from Coatbridge Library, Thomas, kind of had a little chat about this, and this was the list that we came up with. Originally, We didn't have Outback Noir. That was from one of our other colleagues, Alison, who threw that in there as a complete and utter left field option for crime novels for us. I think obviously everyone's usually used to things like the kind of Scottish crime and maybe like Scandi Noir, that kind of stuff. But I had never actually I didn't even know Outback Noir was a thing. So this is a kind of new thing for even me to have discovered. And then that's kind of really interesting. So local legends, obviously, Lanarkshire's a kind of been a bit of a hotbed for some fantastic writers over the years, and local legends is all about those people and celebrating some of the great novelists and writers that have came out of Lanarkshire in the past. And there's sort of some great people in amongst that list. Banned books, obviously, throughout the kind of the world and kind of organisations and libraries and schools and stuff like that over the course of time, various books have been banned. I mean, I know it's crazy. Why would you ban a book? But some people have decided to do it in certain places. And the banned books list is all about books which, at some point or another, have been banned somewhere in the world for whatever reason. And you can read the book and find out what all the controversy was about and why anyone would think it would be worth banning at some point. Outback Noir, like I say, everybody's kind of quite well known about sort of all the kind of gritty streets of Glasgow and Edinburgh that people have written crime novels about. But what about Australia? What's the kind of gritty part of Australia that everyone doesn't really know? Everyone of a certain age will probably know all about how Australia looks like in comparison to home and away and neighbours, but there's a grittier side to Australia to discover with Outback Noir, I think, and that's definitely something what we can explore during the Great Bookish Menu. Historical fiction, obviously, there is been plenty of fantastic things and maybe not so fantastic things in the past too, which are worth telling the story about again in some kind of way, even if it is in a kind of fictional sense. And there's lots of fantastic historical fiction books out there to discover and explore. Science fiction and fantasy is something that is very kind of like, it's a bit marmitey. Some people don't really like science fiction very much. Some people absolutely love it. And then there's the people obviously in the middle who just think some are good, some are not so good. And this is when you can kind of find out a little bit about what you think of science fiction and fantasy novels. And of course, then there is obviously in every library the non-fiction section, which some people never go near. And everyone should really kind of go over there and discover a little bit about non-fiction books. There's something really in there for everyone to discover and see what you might fancy reading about and find out about something that's quite factual and real for a change. So what we do, explore the local or the various lists that we've got a little bit and see which two titles I would pick. I would kind of jump out for me for to have a look at during that. Let's do it. Now, our local legends list has got some fantastic names on there, many of which some people no doubt will recognise for sure, such as Anne Donovan and Des Dillon. There's also Liz Lockhead on there, Damien Barr, who we've had visit the library recently, and also Len Penny, who has become very, very famous with her poetry and writing and things like that recently. So there's lots and lots of really interesting things on there. And some of the books are written about places that you'll know very well, that are based in Airdrie and things like that. One of the ones that catches my eye a little bit, and it's a book that's been out for quite a long time, is the David Keenan book, This Is Memorial Device. It's one of those books that I have seen lots and lots of times, and it's kind of all set about kind of music and bands and stuff like that sort of thing. It makes me very much think of my kind of youth a little bit whenever growing up in the kind of Airdrie and Coatbridge music scene and things like that. And it's one of those books that I think catches my eye a little bit and it's something I would maybe kind of want to read to kind of tick that genre off my list. One of the other ones that catches my eye as well is the Len Penny one, which is called Poems. And I do kind of like to kind of dip into the kind of poetry collections here and there. And Len Penny's poetry is fantastic. You may have seen some of her readings and things like that on like TikTok, where she's very kind of got a very big following, and she's just a very kind of, it's very kind of well written and usually very Scottish as well, which is a nice kind of little part to it. And that's probably one that I think I would kind of like to pick up and kind of see as a local legend to tick that kind of section off my thing. But some of the other titles as well, some that we've kind of worked with, some of the authors that we've worked with quite a lot in the library service, such as Alyssa Suave, Ginger and Me, and Owen Mullen, Games People Play, and Owen Mullen has also got a whole host of other books as well that would be kind of worth having a look at as well. And what else is on this list here? There's also probably one of Coleridge's most famous sons, Mark Miller, the comic book writer, is on there. We've got Red Sun as the book that's listed there, but Mark has got a whole host of graphic novels, which would be worth checking out. And graphic novels would be another kind of subgenre of it, which you maybe not have checked out before, which might be kind of worth kind of as a kind of side genre to the challenge that you can kind of check out. Let's move on to banned books. Now, banned books is an interesting category, I think, because, I mean, you look at some of the books that you discover on banned books lists, and you kind of think, why on earth was that ever banned? But other ones you can kind of maybe see a little bit. The ones that can catch my eye a little bit on the list, on here we have got things such as Animal Farm by George Orwell, probably one of the kind of most famous ones. Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown, obviously kind of the religious aspects to that. And let's see, what else have we got? Lady Chatterley's Lover, as well. A kind of classic there that's kind of sometimes kind of fallen foul of the banned book world. Now, some of the ones that catch my eye on that list, for me, I think it would be, I think I would kind of like, I've read Animal Farm before. I think it's one that I've not read in a long, long time, and I think that would be one that I would maybe want to go back to and kind of and read again to kind of get a new kind of perspective of it all this time later. Brave New World is one that caught my eye because I really enjoyed the TV show version of Brave New World. I haven't read the book, and it would be interesting to see if there was major differences between the book and what happened in the show as well. So that was one that I think, to me, would be the one that I would pick from the banned books list to see what the differences were between the novel and the TV show. So I think that would be my choices for the banned books list. Now, Outback Noir, I know nothing about Outback Noir as the next genre for us to have a look at. I didn't even know Outback Noir was a thing, but there are some interesting titles on there. I can't say that I'm particularly familiar with any of the authors that appear on the list that we've put together for it, but that's all part of discovering more. So on here, what have we got? We have got things like Chris Hammer, Cover the Bones, Bad Debts, Peter Temple, Everyone on This Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson, and also Murder Town by Shelley Barr. So I think for me, this would be a complete random lucky dip. I don't know much about any of these books at all, if I'm being completely and utterly honest. Thomas put together this list for this part of the challenge. There's also one called Patricia Wolf Outback, which actually, I think whenever I was reading through the list before, probably that one would be the one that caught my eye, because it's about two missing backpackers in the vast outback, and it's kind of, there's a police officer that kind of investigates it and stuff like that. That kind of caught my eye a little bit, as something I thought might be kind of interesting. So I think I would go with Outback by Patricia Wolf as being my choice for the challenge, if I got a chance to do that. Historical fiction, science fiction, and non-fiction were lists that I put together for the challenge. So these are my lists that we did. And on the historical fiction list, we have got things like Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell, The Mentorist by Jessie Burton, Diana Gabaldon, Outlander, and there's also other ones, kind of like such as Stacey Hall, The Foundling, and things like that. I have read some of these that are on this list. I would highly recommend The Witches of Vardu, Anya Bergman, if you really wanted one to do for the challenge. It's kind of a sort of witch trial sort of one with a little hint of the paranormal to it as well. It's a really great book, and kind of more sort of recent history. The Tattoos of Auschwitz by Heather Morris is one that most people I think will probably have heard of at this point. If you've not read it and you think it might be something that you might find interesting, it is a very interesting story based on obviously the bad things that happened at Auschwitz during World War II. It's definitely one that'd be worth looking at as a story. So there's some fantastic ones to disappear into in the past for there if you wanted to read that. The science fiction genre and fantasy one has got lots of really interesting titles on it as well. Some of them are authors that I've read other books from and things like that, or ones that I've heard are very, very good. Some of kind of older authors that are that I have read, but maybe kind of titles that I haven't read and things like that sort of stuff that I thought might be interesting to put together for this. And other ones that have been kind of famous because of TV shows, such as the Three Body Problem, which has become a big TV show on Netflix recently. There's also Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, and which again was quite a big hit book whenever it came out. And also again has made it its way to TV as well with another TV show. And another George Orwell one that is on there, 1984, which again is one that I read a long time ago, which I would like to read again. So that might be a kind of an interesting one to revisit for this challenge as well, because it was one of my favourite books at one point whenever I read that. Another one that's been quite successful recently that might be worth checking out is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. It's a kind of very much a fantasy book with dragons and all that sort of stuff. If that's your thing, that might be one that's worth checking out. I think for myself, the one that I think I would like to check out from this list that I haven't read is Alien Clay by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I read one of his books recently, and the name of it escapes me at this point in time. But it really was good. It was the first science fiction and fantasy book I had read in quite a while, and I really quite enjoyed it, and it made me remember how much I actually quite enjoyed the science fiction and fantasy genre, because it's something that I haven't read much of in quite a long time. But that definitely made me kind of remember what I loved about it. And so I think he's re-sparked my interest in it, and so I would definitely like to kind of check out some more of his books. The final genre on our list is the non-fiction one, which is an interesting one because there's so many different kind of ways you can kind of look at non-fiction. There's so many different topics, if you like, that you can look at. On the list that I put together for it, there's some kind of special interest books, some kind of things that are important to a lot of people in the world at the moment, and one particular really random one, which actually is the one that I'm going to pick up as on this whenever we're talking here, as the one that I would really like to look at. But we've got things like We Can Boogie, which is about the Scotland's football revival, obviously with the Euros coming up. That was kind of an interesting one to kind of check out. Another one about kind of of a Scottish author, Darren McGarvey, The Social Distance Between Us. Another kind of topical, very topical one at the moment. And there's also other things like Invisible Women by Caroline Criado Perez, I think maybe how you pronounce the surname there. And also the one that I'm going to pick up on is the one that I think I would most likely like to read on this one. Is really a bit of a random one, but I think that's the great thing about non-fiction. They can be quite a random title. Um, it's by Merlin Sheldrake, and it's called Entangled Life: How Fungi Made Our World, Changed Our Minds, and Shaped Our Futures. And I think my interest in this comes a little bit from my interest in gaming a little bit with the the game The Last of Us, which is all about um, fungus and things like that growing, and it's like it's a bit of a kind of horror genre game, and it's also a big TV show now as well, and that's all about fungi and how that can kind of affect the world. So I think that's what caught my eye about this, was because it kind of taps into that interesting part about fungi, which is, although it's not obviously going to interest everyone, but you never know, it might be something that you might be interested in as well. So might be kind of worth checking out. There's other things like The Diary of a Bookseller by Sean Bethel, who owns the bookshop in Wigtown and things like that, which is the kind of largest second-hand bookshop in Scotland. So there's lots of different things that you can catch your eye on. And one of the things that I thought might be of interest as well to other people, because it seems to be something that there's quite a lot of books out about it at the moment. Is there's a book called The Beacon Bike, around England and Wales in 327 lighthouses, and it's all about kind of visiting around the various lighthouses that are all around about the coast of Britain, because there seems to be quite a lot of interest in that at the moment. It's kind of something that's definitely something that kind of captures people's eyes a little bit. I think it's for me, I think it's the kind of buildings, the interesting shape of them, what they do, the kind of reason why they're there, that kind of really catches people's imagination. So there's lots and lots of different genres there for you to get involved in. It's definitely a challenge that I think is worth signing up for. And you can, like I say, you can sign up on our online catalogue. It's not revealed quite fully just yet, because we've not quite fully launched it. As I say, this is a bit of an exclusive for the podcast, but you can find it if you really want to on the search function. If there's a drop down, if you change that to reading challenges and search for Great Bookish Menu, it will come up and you can sign up for it right now. The challenge launches on the 19th of June to the 19th of September, and we will make a bigger splash on the online catalogue at the point when that we reach round about then, to get everyone that's interested signed up. But you can get signed up now as an exclusive podcast listener, just to get in a little bit earlier before everyone else. And you can get check out those lists and get your ideas in line for what you might want to read to hit all those 6 genres throughout the summer months. I hope that it's something that inspires you guys to read some really interesting and different books throughout the summer. And I've always found it to be quite an interesting thing to do throughout the summer months. It changes your kind of reading perspective a little bit, and just gets you to venture to something a little bit different and kind of off the beaten track. Because I think as readers, we mostly tend to stay to the kind of normal stuff that we like to read. And sometimes it's good to kind of just get a gentle nudge to kind of go and check out something a little bit different and see something a little bit different. So I hope this has been interesting for you guys. Like I say, watch out for more information coming very, very soon about Great Bookish Menu, and we will hopefully have you reading over the summer. And let us know if you're taking part on social media. Let us know once you complete the challenge, and we can celebrate reading throughout the summer with the Great Bookish Menu. That's all for now, guys. I hope you've enjoyed listening, and we'll be back again very, very soon with another podcast. Bye for now, guys.